hey, it's John Shapiro, here we go. Knows the road rules better than most folks know. Ask your questions, bring the heat or keep it chill. He's got the answers and a license to spill. Ask a traffic cop, Sean's your guy. Breaking it down, no lie, no tie. Knows the stuff and things to keep you clear. Ask away, he's the voice you want to hear. Badge, now a podcast star, navigating traffic laws near and far. Stop sign confusions or a signal light feud. Sean's the one to give you the right attitude. Yeah, ask your traffic cop, Sean's your guy. Breaking it down, no lie, no tie. Knows the stuff and things to keep you clear. Ask away, he's the voice you want to hear. From this man. Ask a traffic cop, Sean's your guy. Breaking it down, no lie, no tie.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, police stuff. That was a lot of words to say with one breath. Okay, hey, I'm sorry I'm late. I got back to the house 5 minutes ago. That's 4 minutes after 10, and that's because I was out meeting a group of magical people. Yes, motor officers, retired ones. I met up with some of my old pals, from superintendents to PCs, sergeants, and everybody in between. I guess that is everybody in between. Listen, it was awesome seeing everyone that I saw. And I literally drove there, shook a bunch of hands, hugged a bunch of people, and then said, I got to go because I've got a live stream at 10 o'clock. And then I've got Jerry Agar on NewsTalk 1010 at 10:35. And I can't be late for Jerry. Everybody else will understand, but not, Jerry understands too. I think he understands. Anyway, what's going on? Big stuff to talk about. It hit me last night on the live stream we did after dark last night for 2 hours, not one, but 2 hours of magic on the air. We were talking with you, but we had Melody, the mechanic, online, and Melody was answering questions about, well, mechanic stuff because she's a mechanic. Makes sense, right? So we did that for 2 hours last night. It was awesome. But somebody said, what do you think about Doug Ford's comments? And I don't think it had really sunk in until then that Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, got up and talked about getting rid of automated enforcement because it's a tax grab. That's a load of crap. Anyway, I wrote an article. I haven't published it yet. Hey, if you're with a newspaper and you want to publish it, let me know. But I'm going to put it up on LinkedIn if I don't hear from anybody knocking on my door. He's wrong. He's wrong for a lot of reasons, and if you want to talk about it, I'm here for you. Let me know what your thoughts are. In fact, I was just typing into Suno. Suno's the AI song generator that I love so much. I was typing in, create a song called Doug Ford is Wrong About Traffic Cameras. We need more of them, not less. And I don't know what else to put. But I'm gonna by the end of the show, we're gonna play this song, and it's gonna be awesome. Okay, we got the Real Walker Texas Ranger says, every time I hear that song, it brings me back to the 90s, 2000s sitcom era. I love it. Oh, the theme song of the show, Real Walker Texas Ranger is back, and he likes the music. That's awesome. I have to remember that the feed on Instagram is a couple of seconds behind. So sometimes I get people who are making comments. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I said that 5 seconds ago. But anyway, timing is everything. Hey, if you're watching and you don't already know how the magic happens, Diamond and Diamond has a lot to do with it. They are big supporters of better traffic safety and education, the organization that hosts this show. It is the organization I created when I left the Toronto Police just over a year ago. Diamond and Diamond wants to keep you safe, and they know that education has a big role to play in it. And that's just what it is. That's not an ad. It's not a thing. I just really appreciate that they support us financially. And if you need a lawyer for personal injury stuff, you should call them. That's just a thing. That's not because they asked me to say it. It's because I'm saying it because they're awesome. And have you watched their commercials recently? Not even commercials. Their social media content is signature gold. Yeah, no, they do some amazing work. And I'm watching Maury, the Shermanator, in some of their skits, and it's awesome. So if you're not checking them out on social media, you should be. They have some fun stuff. Wayne says, morning, Sean. Julie says, good morning, Sean. Much more formal. Mary Lynn says, good morning. Good morning to you, too, all of you. If you got questions about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff, you're in the right place because I answer questions about stuff and things right here for about an hour. And again, at 10:35, we'll be joined by Jerry Agar, NewsTalk 1010. You can phone in at 416-872-1010. You can text your questions in at 416-872-1010 or call 1-875-185-151 toll free. And that's a thing you can do because those are options you have. Let's see what's going on. Do we have any questions? No, we don't have any questions yet. So maybe we look into this song, finishing the song. Oh, really? Beleza says more cameras are being cut down. And thanks for the follow. When you say more, that's a different location. So, the statements he made really fuel the fire for those people who think they're doing the right thing by interfering with public safety equipment. Is it different than cutting down a traffic signal? Is it different than taking away a stop sign? If someone is saved because they slowed down because of the existence of that camera, but they sped up or just kept speeding at the speed they were going to do without, being told to slow down with that warning sign that says if you don't slow down, you're going to get spanked. Well, does that mean that person should be responsible for anything bad that happens? Remember, at that intersection on Parkside Drive, a couple were killed as a result of a collision. That camera, if it was there before, might have prevented their deaths. But, somebody doesn't like cameras. It's not cool. Okay, I want to finish the song. Create a song called Doug Ford is wrong about traffic cameras. We need more of them, not less. What else can we say? Any ideas for lyrical masterpiece creation here? Parkside Drive, we'll make it here. Parkside Drive has been safer, despite wasting tons of taxpayer money replacing the vandalized, to spell it right, vandalized camera 7 times. I'll say replacing the camera 7 times. Okay. Limited. Okay. Let's see what it does. I'm really excited. What could it do? Yeah, Beleza says money grab, apparently. I never understand this. How the heck is it a money grab? A money grab is something that's taking money from people that don't deserve it. But when you are a violator in the traffic space, making roads unsafe for those on the road, those on the sidewalk, those in the vicinity, well, then you're a violator. You're not a regular person. You're a bad person. Or at least a person who may be good in most cases, but certainly doing dumb stuff when you're behind the wheel. So, yeah, it's not, you're volunteering that money when you choose to violate the law. Phil says, good morning, Sean. Good morning, Phil. And, he makes a point. He says, speed cameras doing nothing to catch impaired, uninsured, or unlicensed drivers. And you're right. Phil, you're absolutely right. Speed cameras catch speeders, not impaired drivers, not uninsured vehicles, and not unlicensed drivers. You're absolutely correct. But we don't have enough cops to be everywhere. So I'd rather catch the speeders who may also be impaired, uninsured, and unlicensed than not to catch anybody for anything. Now, I'd like to see an increase. First of all, I'd like to see more cops on the road. I'd like to see coppers doing heavy enforcement of all traffic violations. And I'll tell you, you would be back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s when people behaved on the road because the consequence was real and the risk was real to getting caught. Coppers catching you doing the same offense would have real penalty, real consequence, and when there were more coppers and dedicated enforcement units, people acted accordingly. Like the reason people are getting away with what they're getting away with is because police are understaffed, and the cameras are a stopgap. They're helping, but they're not perfect. Let's see what it did. This is the first ever debut of a new song that I just created without even knowing the lyrics. I hope it's safe for radio.
Says no to the lens of truth, but Parkside's calm, and that's the proof. 7 times replaced, yeah, a costly game, but safety's worth every cent, every name. Doug Ford is wrong, oh, he's wrong. Can't you see traffic cameras save lives? Let them be fewer crashes, fewer tears. Parkside Drive's been safer for years.
I love it. This is awesome.
They click and flash, they make us slow. The numbers drop, it starts to show. The kids can cross, the wheels behave. Each snapshot of life that it just might save. Is the price too high, or is it just right to make it home safe every night?
I'll post the whole version of the song afterwards. I think that's awesome. There's another like a minute and a half left that song, but I don't want to leave you. This is not a music channel, although I will be adding that to my playlist. I will be rocking out. Can you rock out to country-ish? What style of music is that? What does it say? It says a jangly guitar, steady drum beat, male vocals, storytelling vibe, folk rock. Okay. By the way, I do I have a referral thing? Maybe I can give people something benefit, but you should use Suno, whatever it is. It's free. I pay for it because I want to be able to play and license the music. But you can make hits like that by yourself. Like my friend Dale, who made a song called Pizza Farts for his kids. It's adolescent and it's hilarious. Yeah, you can do just about anything on that. So Pizza Farts for the win. Julie gave me thumbs up. I don't know if that was for the song or for the knowledge about pizza farts. Okay, I'm going to stop saying that. Brandon wants to know when the retired cop and the retired chef are going to lunch. Well, you're in Orangeville and you're in town, or close by. Let's make it happen before you have to fly back to Florida. The Real Walker Texas Ranger says, I'll DM you when I find the page again, but I came across an account that uses AI songs to teach about different topics like popular mechanics, how it's made, combined with very catchy. I think I saw their video this morning talking about steel being transported, like rolls of steel being transported on semi-trucks, and they had the background. I may have even saved it because they were explaining why you can't put a roll of metal on the side. It has to be rolled. Anyway, it was sung. It was hilarious. It was very well done. That might be the same thing. Basharat says, morning, Sir Sean. How are you? What is the location of your studio now? Canada or the United States? Basharat is in Punjab, Pakistan. If it's the same Basharat Ali from the traffic police in Punjab in Punjab, Pakistan. Did I say that right? Am I right? I remember we speak infrequently, and sometimes the details get messed up. And then someone said, no, there. Anyway, I think that's where he is. So I'm in Canada still, although I have bounced back and forth for presentations and conferences and whatnot, but I'm based in Canada. Cold Liquor says, Sean is in Toronto. He's Canadian. I am. It's true. All right. What do we got here? Oh, Julie Julie was clarifying. The support was for the song that we played and not the Pizza Farts song that Dale made. Okay. Phil could add some backup with the backup accordion. I have an accordion. So here's a fun fact. My mother played accordion when she was a kid in Toronto. And I don't know how that becomes a thing that someone voluntarily says, let me lug 50 pounds of stuff to school, as you're walking uphill in both directions. But yeah, I have her stuff here somewhere. Okay. What do we got? We got Miss Lulu followed. Thank you very much for the follow. And then we've got Rylan who says, now that you aren't a cop, were you pressured to hand out tickets? I can tell you that I've never been pressured to hand out tickets. I've never had a quota. I've said this while I was a cop. Now that I'm not a cop, the story is consistent because it is accurate and true. I've never had a quota. I wrote as many as I could because I knew that the more tickets I wrote, the safer the roads would get. The idea of ticket writing is to change driver behavior. If I just say don't do it, well, isn't that the same as the street sign that's posted saying don't do it, and the driver's license testing process that said don't do it, and your parents who said don't do it? But no one changes your behavior until you get that slap, that sting of a financial impact and the possibility of a greater financial impact of your insurance going up and of your points going on there and of your potentially losing your license. Those consequences are what keeps most people honest. If they could do whatever they want and get away with it, they would. The consequence is the only thing keeping us in order, and that's why that thin blue line concept that the media seems to say is a racist thing. It's not a racist thing. It's not a white supremacist thing. The thin blue line, the line between order and chaos, the consequence that if you cross the line and do unlawful things, the consequence will come down on you, the police. You'll get a ticket, you'll get arrested, you'll get whatever. That's what the thin blue line is. You hold the line as the police keeping people in order in chaos. Really bugs me that the media and people who know sweet F all about the thin blue line have turned it into something that it isn't because they want a narrative that they want to push. But anyway, oh well, what can I do? Yeah, no quotas, no nothing like that. What do we got here? Greg says, any plans to do a show with Officer Frank Slope? We've chatted on social media, on Instagram. He's liked some stuff. I've said I got to come visit. We've never had long and involved conversations while staring into each other's eyes. But I would like to go visit him in Arizona. That's something that is on my list. I had to cancel. I was supposed to speak at the Smile Conference. That's a social media in law enforcement conference in North Carolina, this year. I was supposed to go and this week or next. But I had to cancel it. I got too much going on. So hopefully next year I'll go do that again. Because I've spoken there twice now. And this was supposed to be the third time. When Rowan is a criminal, that's the username on TikTok, says, when can cops start carrying RPGs? That's RPG is rocket propelled grenade for anyone who isn't a gamer or familiar with the terminology. Yep, probably not going to happen just because the risk to public safety is kind of high when throwing projectile explosives. I'm going to say it's not a good idea. I'm going to go with that. If you're watching and you're new to the channel, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a former police officer who talks about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. Just a shout out to Diamond and Diamond Lawyers. They sponsor the show. They sponsor the organization. They make it all possible, and I thank them for that. Let's see. If you've got questions about traffic safety, traffic law, or police stuff, and I see questions about OACP, is it hard? We can talk about recruiting. We'll look at the Toronto Police website and see what their posted jobs are. Absolutely. Gordon Shumway, it's Alf. Alf is here. Meeting Larry Wilcox next month. Will he remember you? Shall I mention your name? I don't know if he will. We spoke at great length. You can ask him about the big cop who fixed Eric Estrada's home screen on his iPhone and gave him his challenge coins from. I mean, he might. He's made a video about me. He and I have chatted by way of thing. We went bowling. I mean, once you bowl with someone, you're friends forever. So he might not remember me. I don't know. But by all means, tell him I say hello. Send him a picture. In fact, I can send, if you DM me, I'll make a video for. Maybe I'll just post it online. I'll make a video for you to play and introduce. Anyway, we'll have some fun with it. But yes, moving on, Alf. Appreciate you, Gordon. Do you participate in shooting sports? Phil, I am an avid. I don't know if I can say avid anymore. I used to go weekly to the range. I am absolutely a fan of firearms in all their uses. And I used to shoot competitively. I was an IPSC guy for many years, although I don't think my black badge is still valid. I got to go do it again, which is awesome because it is the most fun to shoot 1,500 rounds of ammunition for that qualifier. I really had a lot of fun. I don't think I used 1,500 rounds, but they always say bring 1,500 rounds. Still need to hear what the back up accordion sound would be like to my shooting sports. Okay. Nicholas Rizzi says, how do I know if my car that I parked on the street was just towed away or stolen? Who am I going to call? Not the Ghostbusters, but you can call 311. I think they're the ones that you can call. You know what? That's a good question. You can call the non-emergency line. There's probably a posted number, but 311 would be a good place to start. They have lots of information about stuff and things. Joshua Schultz wants to know if there's a rule about eating and driving. That is a good question. Eating and driving, yes. Well, first of all, it depends on the jurisdiction you're in, because even consuming some agua in your vehicle could be an issue if you're in Alberta, because they call that distracted driving. I think that's insane. But it would be careless driving if you were driving in such a way, or drinking in such a way, or eating soup, or whatever you're doing. It could be careless driving in Ontario if it's, making it less safe to operate your motor vehicle because you're not paying attention. If you're watching and you don't already subscribe to the channel, please do, whatever platform you're on, but especially go to YouTube and follow VoiceOver Cop. Subscribe to me there. And if you're watching on TikTok, please tap the screen till your fingers going up. It really helps the algorithm tell people that we're worthy of watching. Also, a reminder that in not too many minutes, in about, what do we have? We have about 7 minutes. We're going to be joined by Jerry Agar on NewsTalk 1010, at which point we'll be talking to Jerry in studio. And anybody who calls in, I better put the number up and say, if you want to phone or text, send that question or call in at 416-872-1010. If you want to call from someone outside of the Toronto area that might incur, long distance charges. Is that even a thing anymore with voice over IP? But anyway, 1-877-518-5151. Okay. While Greg, thank you for the hat and mustache that I didn't see happen because I don't have a screen that's displaying animations, but I appreciate the gifts. Any gifts that come in are going to the not-for-profit organization that I created called Better Traffic. It's called the Canadian Organization for Better Traffic Safety and Education, and you can find that page at bettertraffic.ca. You can also get the show-specific website at askatrafficcop.ca. All right, let me scroll back and see. We got a couple of things that are really cool. I say really cool. Things I want to talk about that have been asked about and scrolled past. I'm scrolling back. Okay. RPGs, we talked about. Any plans to do a show? We talked about that. We got We Stand For Thee, who says, how often do you calibrate your speeding radars? I suspect I was clocked with a very inaccurate one. Well, we don't calibrate them. They're calibrated by the technician, not the officer. Police officer has to, and radar, are we talking about automated enforcement, or are we talking about an officer's handheld speed measurement device or in-car radar? So radar is an in-car moving unit. Almost anyone who's using a handheld unit right now in Canada, I'm going to assume, is using a LiDAR device, laser speed measurement device. And those have a checksum or a system that has to be that has to happen. Internal checks, the computer system won't let it work if it's not working according to manufacturer specificacations. But then there's an alignment check that an officer will do to ensure that it's actually aimed correctly. As long as that's done before and after the enforcement, it's deemed to have been tested. You can always suggest or bring evidence to the contrary to say that it wasn't working the way it should have. But that's what court's all about. Generally speaking, my experience, it's very accurate. Also, it's based on confirming an estimation. The officer, based on their experience and training, is going to estimate your speed by looking at you, and then they're going to use the device for confirming it. The other thing is when you have moving radar in a motor vehicle that has the front and back antenna that's driving, and it calculates based on your speed, the differential, and it's a thing. Those are also very accurate. But you know what? They don't have to rely on the device. They can also get you by pacing. So there you go. Hey, Jen says, happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a great day, having a fantastic day. If you were just tuning in, I got to visit, I got to socialize with some amazing people, men and women, retired motor officers, traffic officers with tons. I think we guesstimated as we were laughing about the fact that we had like 1 million years of traffic safety education sitting at one table. And I quite literally got there, shook hands, hugged people, caught up quickly, and then said, hasta luego. I've got to go talk to Jerry Agar on the radio and, of course, answer questions for all my fine friends on social media. So I didn't get to enjoy my magical breakfast as I'd hoped. But you know what? That's the joy of being available to you on a schedule. And I'll have to wait till next year's event to sit down with my friends again. Some people drove as far as 3 hours to come to that breakfast, according to the organizer, and that's pretty amazing. I did float the idea amongst many of these great traffic people that I need a podcast where we all get together and we talk about traffic safety and answer questions like this, but with some of the old timers. I mean, I was chatting with the man who started Crime Stoppers. That's amazing. Like, amazing. Anyway, moving along. Is the OACP hard? So OACP is the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police. If you mean the testing required to become a police officer, I don't think it's hard. It's not terribly difficult. It's a matter of doing it. And a lot of people psych themselves out and never do it because they're scared of failing. Try it, test it, see how you do. Listen, I prepared. I was all over preparation because I know that I knew that I had been out of school for some time. I had been in the workforce. I wanted to slam that test out of the park. So, yeah, I wanted a home run, and I did. I got a pass, but I did is I got grade 7, grade 8 math and tutoring. Why? Not because I was a grade 7, grade 8 math person, because I wanted to increase my speed. It's not good enough to be able to solve a problem. It's about solving as many problems within the given amount of time. So issues and things that need more attention, well, you can give it the attention it deserves. Okay. I need to, since we're talking about hiring, we're going to do a quick, we're getting real close. We'll wait. We'll do the hiring stuff after. Cancel. Okay. Well, we'll put that on a shelf until after our spot, because as I predicted, we have News Talk 1010. Hello, News Talk 1010.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm excited for this segment. We're coming up in about 30 seconds.
30 seconds. We can handle it. If you can keep us music off so we don't violate anything with the YouTube gods, I'd appreciate it.
Awesome. Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, she's far too excited about this. I'm worried about the topics that are coming my way. Let's move on down here. See if I can. We got 30 seconds. Can I? Okay. Gordon Shumway is Ian, right on. Oh, I know Ian. If it's the same Ian, I think we're thinking of. I think it is the same Ian. Ian from Montreal? I think so. Are you allowed to drive with flip-flops, especially an 18-wheeler? I know of no law that requires you to have footwear or limit footwear in any kind. However, I always say footwear is important and stuff that stays on your feet. So that in the event of a collision, in the event of an emergency, like even just hammering the brake pedal, you want to make sure your toesies don't hurt, because if you are given pain when you press down, you might release the pedal slightly to reduce the pain, and that could really change the dynamics of your collision. Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Listen
And if you're walking around on broken glass,
anywhere
bad.
to NewsTalk 1010 Toronto through your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Jerry Agar continues.
We don't hear him. One second. Cannot hear you. No audio. We lost the audio. Oh, maybe they're doing the bit. Maybe they're doing that on purpose. I'm going to message them because it was like there and then gone. Un momento. Lost audio. Okay, I'm sure they'll be back in a moment. Oh, they disconnected and they're back. Here we go.
Pretty high whopping fee for healthcare, and I'm going to run through the numbers with you. Sean Shapiro, have we got it together?
We got it together. Don't know what happened, but it's fixed.
All right, it's fixed. Let's move on. John Moore had a question this morning for you, and here it is.
I recently started noticing these white arrows in the street. There's some in front of our offices here on Richmond Street, and they point toward the gutter. So I want to know what those are for.
And I wish I had an answer. I'm not familiar with arrows to gutters.
Well, I'll tell you what a lot of people wrote in when he asked that question live on the air so that I could record it and play it for you. Quite a number of people wrote in and said that it is for wintertime when people are plowing the roads and it points to the gutters so that the road plow people know where the gutters are.
Well, that's great, except if it's covered by snow, they're not seeing any arrows.
Oh, well, I guess they plow the road first. I don't know.
I will investigate, though. I will try and find out what those are.
All right. Now, this is just a fun story out of BC to some degree, I guess. Not good in traffic, maybe. But a man was arrested in British Columbia for 2 driving offenses. I don't know where he was going or what he was thinking, but he was out in the middle of traffic. This is a fully grown man behind the wheel of a plastic, child-sized pink Barbie Jeep that was motorized.
I heard about this last night.
This is illegal in Toronto?
Well, it's a toy on the road. He's not supposed to be there. It's not. I suppose it's a motor vehicle in the way it's being used. Yeah, you shouldn't be on the road with that. But you know, at what point? There were some young people driving around in a manual transmission go-kart Jeep that they bought at Princess Auto, and they were going to the local Baskin Robbins for ice cream. That was a go-kart. None of these things are legal for the road. They shouldn't be on there. And did it say what he was charged with, or is he just stopped?
Well, I mean, it's just funny to see the video of this grown man on the street in this. He could barely fit in the thing. You know, it looks like a comedy stunt of some kind. I'm looking for the charges here. In this. Oh, by the way, once they stopped him, they found out he had a suspended license, and they arrested him for prohibited driving. They suspect also that he was impaired.
Oh my! Well, technically, it's a motor vehicle according to the criminal code that would still qualify. And if he had a criminal code conviction for impaired operation, that would disqualify him for any vehicle that is operating by way of anything other than muscular powers. So a battery-powered car would qualify. I really want to find a picture of this now. That yeah.
Okay, now here's the thing. Our streets in Toronto are full of illegal vehicles.
No kidding. We have so many problems on the road. Not just, I mean, the e-bike, e-kick scooter, electric unicycle, the modified ones that don't qualify as e-bikes or e-kick scooters. We've got people ordering stuff on Temu and it's showing up and they are driving it willy-nilly without a care in the world. And if you confront them about it, as I saw a video on TikTok where a chap was screaming at police officers, you know what? They're in the wrong, and we need to really crack down on this behavior and misuse of equipment that's not legal for the road.
Here's a texted question. Ask the TikTok traffic cop, is it illegal to go through a stop sign on private property? Example, a shopping mall parking lot.
So it's not there. The offense for failing to stop for a stop sign is not enforceable on private property. But recently there were changes to the Highway Traffic Act that made careless driving a charge that could be laid on private property. And I would argue that if you are driving through stop signs in such a way that it was careless, you could qualify for a much more serious offense on private property than previously.
All right. Here is Cordell. What's your question, Cordell?
Hi. My question is, so I got a scooter. So can I drive it on the road?
Well, scooter is a very non-specific title. What exactly is it? Is it a electric kick scooter, a kick scooter? Sorry, try that one more time.
I say the first one, Moto one.
It's an electric scooter. If it's compliant, so in Ontario, that means it cannot be capable of going more than 24 kilometers an hour, cannot have a motor or drivetrain system more than 500 watts. There is a weight restriction as well, but I don't think you're going to be concerned about that. It cannot have a seat attached to it. If it does that, and you're in a jurisdiction that has opted in, so that means if you're in Mississauga, you can ride it. If you're in York Region, you can ride it, but you cannot ride it within the Toronto boundaries. because it's a prohibited vehicle there. So if it's compliant in a jurisdiction that allows it, yes. If it's non-compliant, nowhere in Ontario can you ride it, but you certainly cannot ride them in the city of Toronto, even though we see them on every road.
Okay.
Now, I will say this: if it goes more than 24 kilometers an hour, it's not covered by the e-bike pilot. It is an illegal motor vehicle, can only be operated on private property.
All right. Thanks for that call. Here's one. Do I move into a bike lane to make a right turn? Where do I make the turn from?
Depends on the individual intersection, and in the city of Toronto, that is like rolling the dice. You never know what you're going to get. If there is a hash mark and there is a green paint on the ground, that is a clear indication that you are supposed to pinch the curb. You're supposed to enter the bike lane to make your right turn. The goal is that you get to the curb and that the cyclist goes around you to the left. That's the way you're supposed to pass vehicles. If it's a cycle track or a protected bike lane, or it's basically the same thing, or if there's no way to get into that bike lane to safely do it, then you make the turn from your lane, not entering the bike lane, and you make sure you yield. Because if you don't give way to that cyclist, they're going to drive into your door, and then your insurance is going to go up. Now, I say that because obviously you're going to injure someone, but so many of these cyclists believe they have the right of way. They won't even slow down for you. So you really have to double check and make that right in safety, because at the end of the day, you're going to be responsible.
Well, I can tell you where the problem is, Sean.
I bet.
If you have to come on this station and say, if you're in this kind of a zone, you do this. If you're in that kind of a zone, you do this. That's too much for people to reasonably have to know.
I absolutely agree with you. The infrastructure, the settings right now for protecting these bike lanes is making it very confusing for everyone involved. The cyclists don't know what they're supposed to do. The motorists don't know what they're supposed to do. And everyone's sort of making it up as they go along. And people are getting hurt. So we need to revisit and replan a lot of these intersections. At very least, standardize them so they're the same at every place.
What if you want to exit the Don Mill, on Don Mills, where the HOV lane is in the right lane?
And now the HOV lane, you're allowed to enter. You obviously make your turns from the HOV lane, but it's confusing there too. The diamond lanes, how long can you stay in them? It's a mess.
Where do we find the TikTok traffic cop these days?
You can get me at askatrafficcop.ca. You can even leave me a voicemail there. You can email me at voiceovercop@gmail.com, but you can get me on all of the platforms at voiceovercop. I'm there and I answer questions.
All right. Thanks for answering them here. We'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure. Take care, Jerry.
I'm going to talk.
Okay. It is always a pleasure chatting with Jerry Agar. He is an Indian rider. He has an Indian motorcycle, and I am jealous that he gets more time in the saddle. I haven't ridden it since my collision. Not really. And for anyone who doesn't know, I was involved in a motorcycle collision in 2018. I can't get over how long ago that was now. And I've been riding since I was a kid. I love motorcycles, and I loved being a motor officer. But my crash in 2018 ended that and really changed the course of my career. But it did launch me into the social media space that I currently reside in. In some ways, I'm very glad it happened. In other ways, I'm not. And if I could have found my way to the social media thing that I do without having been injured and having pain that continues to this day, that's the better way to go. Getting hurt sucks. Don't get hurt. Okay. If you're Nicholas says, I saw a lady gnawing down a corn on the cob. By far the most insane thing I've ever seen. I don't think that corn on the cob would be, depending on how you eat that corn on the cob, I don't think corn on the cob is the most insane. I have seen people eat soup, bowl and spoon, like a cup of soup. I get soup bowl and soup spoon while driving, cereal, chopsticks. I've seen people eating with chopsticks, a bowl. Well, I've seen everything. Corn on the cob, I'm saying it's probably lighter on than that. What is this? Corvette, Florida Highway Patrol now has a Corvette C8 that was seized as a patrol. I love that. This is what we should be doing with stunt drivers. Don't even crush the cars. Sticker them up and make them police cars. That's what we should do. I love that the United States will seize crime vehicles and turn them into police vehicles. They have motorcycles that they've done this. Like they should absolutely do this with every bad people shouldn't keep their stuff. Yes, if you do wrong by all, then absolutely. Gord Shumway, you can DM me. Oh, you're on X. You should be able to send me messages on X. It's a little envelope thing. I get messages from folks all the time. Okay. Let's get back into the stuff and things. Ooh. Can I legally warn upcoming drivers of a speed trap ahead? That's from OB. So flashing your high beams is legally not legal. If it's at nighttime, you're flashing your high beams, you're blinding people, but people do it all the time. Forget about can I legally do it? Should you morally do it? If you are updating, if you are announcing the presence of police, you're getting someone to temporarily change their behavior, slow down just enough not to get caught. Problem is they tend to speed up right after. And when they speed up, they're back at the risk of damage. I'd much rather someone get caught, get a ticket, and possibly slow the hell down for a little while. That's the goal. That's what a ticket is. It's like rubbing the dog's nose in the pee. Don't do that again. It sucks. It stinks. But maybe you change your behavior and then life gets better. I can tell you I got tickets as a kid, a couple of tickets for speeding, a ticket for a stop sign. Those tickets impacted me. It changed my driving. I did not get any more ever again. And I'm thankful for that. The original tickets, I mean. I saw a campaign in Australia that said the lucky ones get caught because the unlucky ones have collision reports done and their families get notified that they're not coming home. That's the reality of traffic, behavior that is not appropriate. Okay. If you're watching and you're new to the show, follow me here and follow me everywhere. I would appreciate it. And it helps the algorithm and good things happen from there. And if you want to financially contribute, by all means, we'd love for you to give us money to help us keep doing what we're doing. You can buy us a coffee, VoiceOver Cop, buy us a coffee. You can also go on to Ask a Traffic Cop or Better Traffic, and it's a not-for-profit organization. It's not giving me money. It's trying to make sure we keep doing what we do for a long time and grow it. I want to create a program that goes across Canada, getting more cops and more ex-cops, people from everywhere involved in traffic safety need to be heard, need to get the message out. E-Town Cotty wants to know if you can refuse an SFST and go straight to the breathalyzer. That's an interesting question, and I'm going to have to bounce it off a friend of mine. Well, first of all, you cannot refuse an SFST. SFST is different than, it's for different purposes. So if they don't have a roadside screening device, which is, I think, what you're referring to when you say breathalyzer, because a true breathalyzer is is something that's taking place at the station with a qualified breath technician. So I have to work through this question. SFST, the demand can't be refused. No. Could you negotiate? Could an officer? I don't know. I've never gone down that road. And why would you want to refuse an FSST? Is it because you have a legitimate concern that you have a physical impairment or some kind of health thing that would make it impractical for you to participate? In that scenario, I think it would be reasonable to use another form. See, if you are clearly impaired by alcohol, I am not going to conduct an SFST test. That's a standard field sobriety test. I'm going to arrest you and take you on a demand to the station to comply. I don't need to do that test. Likewise, that little box that everyone blows into called a roadside screening device, that is something that you do if you don't think they're impaired or you're unsure of whether or not you have grounds to arrest them. But if the grounds are clear, just arrest. And then there's no arguments. Well, there's probably arguments, but yeah, moving on. Okay. We got Star Flyer who says, hi, quick question. My G2 expired while I was abroad. I know I have to do G1 again, but I heard I don't have to wait to do my G2 road test again. How long ago did you expire? Because you may not need to do a G1 again. You might be able to just do the G2. But you're right. Within a certain period of time, you can just do either both or just the one again. And I believe you should be able to just do the G2 again without repeating your G1. Again, depends on the amount of time. Starflyer says, can you guide me, please? Again, I would go to the drive test or Service Ontario or both. The information I think I found on drive test originally, because it all depends on the amount of time. But let me, if you're still watching, let me know the amount of time that has passed. If it just expired last week, you don't need to do anything. You just go and retest your G2 for shizzle. We talked about this already. Mr. Steak, we sent a gift. Aurora followed the host. Thank you so much. Oh, Tracy says, "Are you kidding me, Sean? Now you're the one mentioning soup. Don't make me mute you." Last night we had somebody who was just droning on about soup, and Tracy is a moderator, and she was contending with it while I was focused on other things. So I didn't really feel, the full brunt of the soup fiasco. But I appreciate that she wants nothing to do with soup. What do we have here? We stand on these says it's funny how you have 911 followers. I'm not sure how that's funny. Shaboom Orion says, how can police detect police scanners, and if caught, what does the owner get for it? Police scanners? Do you mean like scanners that scan the radio channels? Those are legal. You can scan radio. Now most police have encrypted channels and they can't be listened to. So what do you mean? Do you mean a radar detector? That's different. That detects and notifies drivers when a radar signal is found or caught. Those are prohibited. The $170 ticket. We have the legal authority to search and seize for that because you can't even transport them in your vehicle in Ontario. So how do they get caught? If we're talking about radar, there are detectors, but the truth is that it's so easy because what happens is we push the little button and then your brakes go on. How did that happen? It's a little delayed, but that's social engineering, and that's enough to articulate for a next level pulling over and searching. Magdalena says, I saw that really bad collision on the gardener, the motorcyclist, and now I'm traumatized. I don't know which one. I heard there was a fire. Are we talking about the fire? Either way, I'm sorry that you had to experience that. That trauma is real. I would talk to someone about it. There are programs. If you witness something and it's bothering you, by all means, seek assistance. Don't hold that in. It's serious. You may be using traumatized lightly. I'm very serious about it. I've seen things that nobody should see. And I talked to somebody about it because mental health is something that we brush aside and pretend isn't a big deal. And that stuff builds. It can really impact you in ways you never thought were possible. Sometimes you can't get those images out of your head. It's difficult. So talk to someone. And if you talk to the police, I don't know if you're in a position where, I mean, we help everybody. We're the police, but you might want to call and see if there's something that they can offer you as a witness to a collision because you saw something that you can't unsee. And that's just sort of what every police officer in their entire career does, but they were prepared and volunteered for it. You didn't. So I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Jamal says DUI. And then Thomas says DUI. And then I don't, was it a DUI vehicle with the motorcycle? I out of context. So I don't know. I think they're responding to Magdalena. Iris 786 says, is that Howard Stern on the line? Jerry Agar. Yeah. Although I should probably call Howard Stern and see if he can be on the show. That would be interesting. I have not listened to Howard Stern's show in many, many years. But yeah. I should catch up and listen to a decade of Howard Stern. I don't know if I could do that. Is anyone listen to Howard Stern? Are you a Howard Stern fan? Anyone? Bueller? What do we have? Ooh. Abert. I don't know how to pronounce your username. Call you Aber. Hey, can I drive an electric scooter without a helmet in the GTA? So it's funny. I knew that at one point you had to be, it was like a bicycle. If you were 18, you can make the decision not to wear it on an e-kick scooter, but you have to wear them on an e-bike, but not on an e-scooter if you're 18. And then they were proposing changing it. So I was telling people because the proposal was in, we were creating training material based on that, saying that it didn't matter your age, you had to wear a helmet on an e-kick scooter, which is, by the way, the right answer. Regardless of what the law says, you should wear a helmet on an e-kick scooter, on a bicycle, on an e-bike. Doesn't matter how big, how fast, how old. Everyone should protect their melon on a machine that rolls, whether it's person power or not. But it's come to my attention that didn't go through. So it is 18 plus. You don't have to wear a helmet on an e-kick scooter. However, on an e-bike, all riders must wear a helmet. What is this? Okay. Got it. Okay. Jose says, yo, what's up? What's up, man? How you doing? And it's almost like he's talking to himself because I didn't respond until just now, and he was having a conversation on his own. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. And okay, let's get back to here. What's our time like? 11 minutes. 11 minutes, and then I got other stuff that I got to do. 2 hours last night, 1 hour tonight, 3 hours in 2 days. I think I'm doing pretty good. Con says, got speed camera tickets in Quebec, and I'm an Ontario resident. Is it going to affect my license? Yes. Well, actually, no. Automated speed enforcement cameras don't. They're written to the driver's license, the license plate, I should say. They do not affect the driver. Same situation as Ontario. It's written to the registered owner. No points are. I think the points should be. I think we should get points added, like they do in Europe. You get points in Europe. So yeah, I started saying yes because if you got a ticket from a police officer in Quebec, there is a reciprocal agreement, obviously, because it's anywhere in the province of any province is going to come back to haunt you ticket wise, except the ones that are automated. Kevin says, hey, boss man, what's the legal amount for front window tints? 0 front window tints. You mean if you're talking about the windshield? Do you mean window tints like the ones left and right of the driver? If you're talking about those windows, 30% light blockage is the legal limit that a mechanic would fail you for if you exceed it. So if you certify a vehicle with more than 30%, you're not getting certified. And more certifications are being denied because of window tint. And if they bring in the regular checks, it's going to be a very expensive subscription to remove and replace window tint that is illegal. Less than 30% light blockage, meaning you have to have at least 70% of light what's the word I'm looking for? The word is translucence, transmission of 30. Yeah, I think it's more than 70% light transmission, visible light transmission. Then it's legal, but you can still get a ticket from a police officer for obscuring the interior of your motor vehicle because you cannot have window tinted into such a degree, and ambient conditions matter. If it's light outside or dark outside, you change it so you can't actually see. In any case, it depends. For the ticket for the $110 for safety and losing your license plates, 30% light blockage. So if it's completely, as they say, murdered out, then they look awesome, but they're totally illegal, and you could lose your license plates. Thomas says, if I have a 310T mechanics license, can I drive a DZ class vehicle for pickup and delivery purposes? I think for mechanical testing, you can. I don't think for pickup and delivery purposes. That one, I cannot give you a definitive answer. I think if you're doing a test drive, you'd be okay. But for pickup and drop off, I don't think you're cleared to do that. Tracy, okay. Thomas says no tints on legal front windows. Yes. Oh, yeah. And going back to the windows, it's the windows left and right of the driver. Rear windows, you could paint solid, opaque, black paint, not tinted at all. They don't regulate those windows. It's only the ones directly left and right of the driver, and of course the windshield can't have any. Josh wants to know about the license. What license do you need for an RV after this year? I've got to Diamond and Diamond and the very magical Cam Woolley made a video breaking that down. I think I reposted it, but I'll definitely share it. It basically, if it's under 11,000 kilos, I don't think you have to have any change. It continues as is. If it goes from 11 to 14,000 kilos, you need to take a online. I took this course test. If you go over 14,000, I think you need to have a vision test and something else. So it's many of them are still G, but it depends on what your specific vehicle is that you want to operate. I have not taken the time to do deep research on this, and I it's on my list of things to do. It is yet to be done. Diggy, what does Diggy say? What is the penalty for commercial driver caught driving without an official license or certified? You're driving without a license for the class of vehicle that you're operating. So you're not a commercial driver if you don't have an official license. You're unlicensed, or you're licensed for a class of vehicle and you're in there. So it's, what's the actual charge? Let's see. But either way, it ain't okay. Let's see here. Police Squad. I just watched a Naked Gun, the remake. Liam Neeson is it's funny. He's not Leslie. What was the original? Wasn't it Leslie? Okay, one second. I'm completely off topic. Naked Gun. It's now Liam Neeson. Who is the original? It was Leslie. What was his real name? Leslie Nielsen. Liam Neeson and Leslie Nielsen. That is so wild that that Frank Drebin, who's both characters are LN. I just made that connection now. I know I'm a little behind. We got a question from Julie in a second. We'll get to that. Also, I don't know if anybody else got the Bueller reference, but I did, and you did. Okay. Let's do licenses. We'll do class. Drive motor vehicle, improper license would be 325. What else could it be? Improper license to drive motor vehicle, 240. I guess what's the difference between this? No endorsement, 325. Interesting. There's a lot to review here. So I at very least, it's more than $100. It's not worth doing. Okay. Tracy got the joke too. Okay, cool. Nice. What are your thoughts on what Mayor said regarding speed cameras? The Premier said, I've not seen the comments from the Mayor. This is, you're talking about Olivia Chow, or you're talking about Doug Ford? I have been very vocal thus far about my disapproval of Doug Ford's message. I don't agree with it. I think that we need more speed cameras, not less. I want them on every road, on every street, everywhere, all the time, stop signs, everything. There's no excuse. When I pick up my kids daily from school, I watch 30 to, it's more than 30%. I'll go half. I'm going to say 50% of drivers who approach the stop sign in front of the school roll the stop. Some of them make the right turn at the intersection, fully not stopping. I would sit there all day long and write tickets if I could. In fact, if any police service in Ontario wants to deputize me for that purpose, I'll do it for free. I'll write those tickets for free because it ain't cool. I wish we had reserve police officers, not auxiliary. We have auxiliary and I was auxiliary. What I'd like to be is a sworn reserve officer that has the authority to write the offenses and act as a police officer part-time. I want to do that. If you are an agency that has reserve status part-time police officers and you want someone who's absolutely committed to traffic safety part-time, you let me know. Well, I'm always committed to traffic safety. I just don't have full-time hours to give you. So that's a thing. Honda Migs, good to see you, brother. Hey, Sean, what is your thoughts on speed cameras getting cut down? I think it's disgusting. I think that the people need to be caught, whether it costs overtime and has stakeout with surveillance and a helicopter. Find that person, charge them, throw their ass in jail, and no bail. Jail, no bail. They're putting lives at risk. It's much more serious than it's being suggested. Manju Manari says, I'm a fairly new driver and saw someone suddenly stop in form of me while riding a 35 mile per hour. What the heck? Someone was driving in front of them. They stopped in front of them while riding on a 35 mile per hour speed. Is it okay to switch on hazard lights and slow down? So if someone stops in front of you, not only is it all right to slow down, you're required to because you don't want to hit them. You don't need to put your hazard lights on. You can change lanes. You can slow down. You have brake lights that dictate that you're slowing down. I don't approve of using hazard lights for anything else. Now, big rigs, and then maybe you're a big rig driver. I don't know. When you say you're new to driver, I would hope you're not a commercial driver when you're a new driver. But the big rigs will very often throw on their hazard lights while they're going uphill because they cannot accelerate faster. And for those who are not learned to understand that that's just a fact of hauling big loads, they take longer to go up. So in that particular scenario, I appreciate and endorse the use of hazard lights. I wrote an article about it. I should probably amend it to say in that scenario, and if I didn't already. Okay. Anyway, you have to avoid hitting people. Brake lights tell people you're slowing down. You don't need a hazard light to do it. Okay. Cool Grizzly says, can I go into cybersecurity department and law enforcement after working as a cop for a few years? Well, you can certainly try. Doesn't necessarily mean you will get in. It's one of those things that's going to be competitive, and a lot of people who want to get in there. So Mark, who asked about the mayor speaking about speed cameras, then said that speed cameras should be chopped down. So is that your opinion, or are you saying that the mayor said that? Because I'm pretty sure the mayor of Toronto would support keeping the cameras because it's about public safety. And I think that the premier spoke out and did so poorly. I don't think his messaging is on the appropriate page. I think he's out of touch on that topic. Nice guy, got nothing bad to say about him except for the fact that he wasted some crown and he is talking poop about speed cameras that are absolutely confirmed to benefit the communities that they're placed in. They make roads safer. Okay. Papa Smurf says, can I fight my ticket? They spelled my name wrong. Did they get everything else right? Name is wrong, but it's just like one letter. Is your driver's license number correct? Is your date of birth correct? Is everything else correct? Because then they'll amend it in court. You won't get off just because they spelled your name wrong. You can fight, doesn't mean you'll win. That's the big thing. Okay. Amanda says, oh, I've been waiting to catch this. Hi, Amanda. I'm glad you caught this. And Amanda follows up with a question saying, can you drive in the far left lane, the passing lane, pulling a trailer on the 401? Yes. Why? Why do you want to do that? If you're driving lawfully, unless you're actively passing, you should be in the right lane. You should be like slower moving traffic, and you shouldn't be speeding anyway. If you're not actively passing, ideally you'd be in the right lane. Could you drive with a non-commercial trailer in the left lane? Yes, you could. But why would you? Just stay to the right. That would be the way to go. And morning, Sean. Great to see you. Good to see you. Although I cannot read the Arabic writing. I'm assuming it's Arabic, so I don't actually know your name. But I see you all the time, and it's good to have you back. Papa Smurf says, my name and date of birth were both wrong. Can I fight it? Was your driver's license number correct? Because that would also contain your identifiers. So you can fight anything. But again, it's very possible that they would do it properly. I'd be interested to know if it was a handwritten ticket, because if it was not a handwritten ticket and it was a computer generated ticket, that could mean there's a problem with your license, because they would have scanned that information in rather than manually typed it. Clayton Squirrel says, transportation of firearms. That is not a question. That is a statement. Actually, it's not even a statement. It's just it's three words that mean very little to me without context. Okay. You don't agree with board either. Mr. Steak says, I went. What's going on here? Come back. Okay. Mr. Steak says, I want a big red light over the four-way stop near my house. So many people run them. Do you think the big red light will change anything? Do you think the big red light, because that's what kind of sort of what Premier Ford said. He says, we don't need traffic cameras. We just need a flashing light and a sign that says the speed limit and slow down. I'm sorry. That's crap, because we already taught people what they should do when they got their license. We put street signs up and told them what the rules were. And when it comes to traffic cameras, we also post a sign saying, hey, up ahead, after that sign that you just passed that said 40K, up there, it says there's a camera that's going to catch you. And they still do it. So the flashing lights, signs, neon, ain't nothing going to make a difference until people actually feel the pinch. That terrible feeling of having increased insurance rates, a fine, or in the case of automated enforcement, a ticket in the mail to say, stop being a dummy behind the wheel. But I guess for those that are oopsies, I didn't see the sign, a red light might be beneficial. But in general, I just don't think that flashing lights make a difference. That Reg, I don't know how to read your name. I don't know where to put the space. If an officer puts down your birthday wrong, as in the wrong date, will the charge be dismissed? It's not an automatic thing. If they had your correct driver's license number, which contains your date of birth, and they just transposed a number, not a big deal. It can be amended in court. James or Candace says, if there wasn't criminals, officers won't have jobs. Recording public places is bad, so when will all stores and banks take down cameras? Two separate comments. I agree with both of them independently. And then he goes on to say, if like self-defense is so bad, when are all officers going to be disarmed? Oh my God. You've struck gold, my friend. Let's talk about all three of these things. So, first of all, you're right. If no one broke the law, officers would be very bored. And I think bored officers are a good thing, not needing to hire tons of people because we just could take care of our own stuff. That is awesome. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen, but it was awesome to dream of. Cops are there as members of the community as well to help with so many things other than catching bad guys. And if there were no bad guys, we'd find other ways to contribute to the community. We'd do other stuff, and it would probably be educational. But sadly, there are so many crooks and criminals and bad folk that the police are completely overrun and overwhelmed and overworked and underpaid. And people will say, well, they make so much money. No, they don't. Not for what they do, not for the risk they put themselves in, not for the amount of time they give up with their family. And I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just saying in general, this is something that bugs me. We need police. We need more police. Okay. James Candace then talked about the recording in public places and the thing is bad. This is talking about a chap from Hamilton, I believe it's Hamilton, who has been told that he has to take down his security cameras because he's not supposed to record or listen to anything beyond the end of his property, which is a load of crap. That is such crap. It doesn't violate any law. Anybody in public space has no reasonable expectation of privacy. If you are out and about and you are speaking about something you shouldn't be and someone were to overhear it, whether they're using a parabolic microphone or they are just sitting with their cameras off their balcony, no, don't say dumb stuff that's private because you're not in a private place. Go with the Maxwell Smart's cone of silence if you need to be in a private place. You have to assume you're being listened to. You have to assume you're being recorded every single day. When I joined the police service in 2000, they said 15 to 17 times a day you're on camera. I would assume that is 500 times a day now. To say 15 to 17 is ridiculously low. It no longer applies. You're on camera all day long, everywhere you go, and you have to assume you're being watched and listened to. Hell, you're carrying a spy mic in your pocket while Facebook listens to what ads it's going to serve you. So you're always being recorded. And for a municipality to come down and tell someone to take their security cameras down because people's privacy, the neighbors want this because this man has helped with his cameras solve 2 murders, according to reports. Sometimes bureaucracy is stupid. And this is a really good example of that. Now, in terms of self-defense is so bad when our officers being disarmed, I do not know how. I see videos of police in Britain, the unarmed folks who are basically special constables, as opposed to the armed police. I do not understand how they do anything. I would not stop a car. I have a friend of mine in Brooks, Alberta, who often joins the show, and he stops motor vehicles for traffic stops. One of the most dangerous things you can do as a police officer, and he does that without a firearm. I think it's. I wouldn't do that job. I mean, if they offered me the chief position, I'd only do it if I didn't have to go up from behind my desk, because you need a gun on the road as a police officer or enforcement person because you're at tremendous risk of harm. Just being nice doesn't cut it anymore because the bad guys, and it's not necessarily you're going to be up against a gun. You might be up against a knife. You might be up against all sorts of things. But yeah, self-defense is not bad. Self-defense is good. I think the message from the chief in York was poorly launched and even worse, and it was received even more poorly. Yeah, no, I'm not going to go where I want to go with this. Moving on. Okay. But self-defense is absolutely in the Criminal Code of Canada, and you can defend yourself. And for the people who believe you can't, yeah, it's a problem for a lot. I'm moving on. I don't want to get into this topic because it pisses me off too much. Okay. Cool Grizzly says, maybe you missed my question. I thought I did answer your question. Okay. It's Con. Okay, cool. Good to know. I'll try and remember that. User lots of numbers says Ford spoke perfectly fine. Those cameras are a cash grab. You are delusional for thinking else. And I'm putting on a silly voice because anyone who is supporting, first of all, that doesn't put their real name or at least a name that makes them recognizable, is hiding. Keyboard warrior. But no, you are the one who is wrong. If you are breaking the law, you are someone who's getting a ticket from an automated enforcement camera. It's not a cash grab. You are in the wrong. Why shouldn't you get it? You should lose your house. If I took away your house for speeding, you wouldn't speed, would you? If you didn't have a house and I took away your dog, whatever means something to you should be taken away from you because you're putting others at risk. What you're looking for is a reason to break the law and not get caught. And that's crap. So Take that somewhere else. Keyboard warrior who doesn't put his name in his user stuff. Moving on. Oh, so the James and Candace was talking to Tracy about what happened to that one homeowner protecting himself and his family, and he was in jail. It is gross. Nobody, in my opinion, which differs from many others, nobody should be arrested for defending themselves. Now, in Canada, you're allowed to defend yourself, but you're responsible for anything you do above and beyond what is reasonable. So what is reasonable force? Well, that's a problem. It should be very clearly defined. Like, for instance, if someone breaks into my house and it puts my family at risk and I were to do something and end that person, I think that should be fine. My house, middle of the night, I got camera footage of him breaking in. My family's scared. The result of him getting in is probably going to be me getting hurt. Not about protecting my stuff. It's about protecting my family. Yeah, that person should cease to be. And I should get a medal for it, not jail time. But many people have said, well, how do we know that it was justified? Because he's in my house in the middle of the night and I got a family. It shouldn't require any more explanation than that. And yet, because the court system and everyone wants to cover their ass, they arrest people. And I get it. Police are put in a really tough position. Guy's dead on the floor. You got to arrest the guy who put a hole in him until they can sort it out afterwards. And it's not my problem because I did it. No, I don't buy that anymore. In the States, they'd give you a medal. You should get a medal here too. And if you don't want to get hurt, don't break into houses. If you don't want to get shot, don't break into houses. If you don't want to get, beaten with a baseball bat, don't break into houses. I think that makes a lot of sense. But anyway, me with these crazy ideas. That's too much American TV, apparently, in my childhood. Okay. Does Canada have a no chase rule? No, they're allowed to chase. They have to justify any chase and the risk to public safety. Fireboy the man says, Sean, do you think traffic matters with Russia? Do you think traffic matters with Russia and the U.S. and Israel starting World War III? Oh, you're saying, is this still relevant because there's geopolitical things happening in wars? And yeah, because if you have people acting like jackasses on our roads here, then what's happening internationally is just more bad stuff. So it's unfortunate that the entire world is falling apart. That doesn't mean we should just start driving at Mach 7 in school zones. Like, no, just because bad things are happening doesn't mean we give up, everything and just act stupid. But yeah, so it's totally relevant here because people live here and not everybody's involved with war. Fireboy the man says, Sean's a Zionist, best friends with Mario Zelaya. So I am friends with Mario Zelaya, who creates great content, is trying to educate people. And am I a Zionist? Well, first of all, yes. And second of all, do you know what a Zionist is? It means someone who believes that Israel deserves to be a state. And there are many people who are Zionists that have nothing to do with Judaism. There are people who are Arab and Zionist. So what's your point? Anyone who believes that the country deserves to exist is a Zionist. I'm proud to be one. Okay. Mr. Steak is also volunteering to write tickets for people who run those things. I agree. I love it. And user lots of numbers. The keyboard warrior says, wow, you sure are in favor for ticketing and taxing people who are already struggling in the economy. Okay. I try and not call people dum-dums, but you are absolutely deserving of the title. You're not ticketing and taxing anybody. People who break the law are volunteering. They're choosing to make a donation because they're breaking the law. Moving on. Khan said, what did Khan say? Doug Fort's statement is encouraging bad drivers and ASE destroyers. So sad to hear that. I 100% agree. It's almost like you read the article that I haven't published, but I wrote an article about the fact that he's basically siding with the dum-dums who are cutting things down. And it unfortunately, it fuels the fire. Okay. They need to, yes. Okay. Mom in Alberta says, if the camera is on our property and you pointed it to someone else's yard, I don't see the issue. Oh, not pointed. Okay. So if it's on your property facing outward, everything you can see while you look out the window and you can see something in their yard, that's not an issue either. The issue is if you're pointing it at someone's bathroom, bedroom, you're invading their privacy in a place that would normally not be accessible from public access. And that's something that can be addressed. You don't put a camera in your neighbor's house. You put a camera that might cover your neighbor's property. And you know what happens? My doorbell has been recording my neighbor's front of his house for years. And sadly, it didn't trigger when his truck was stolen. But the police came by to see if they had video that they could use to try and help identify said bad persons. When my father's house was burglarized, the neighbor's cameras captured footage of the vehicle. I want cameras to cover the property. I would like cameras everywhere. No, not 1984 where you can't speak out of line. But if you're not breaking the law, what exactly are you worried about? Okay. How bad are plate covers? Well, they're not legal. See, they're $110 bad. By the way, back to that camera situation. The neighbors want the cameras there. Did I mention that? Yeah, I mentioned that. But they actually said it on the news. Like, we have no problem with the cameras. Yeah. Ba-doo. All of them, even the ones that, yes, all of them. Any plate cover, tinted, clear, they're all illegal. James or Candace says, only when the judge deems it as self-defense, laws are there to protect criminal. Yes, 100%. I see. It's weighted on the side of the accused. It's weighted for the person who is being accused or is a criminal. They get off way too light. I think we need more jails and more people in them. Agreed. We agree on that too. Check out my video. What was the video? I got to scroll back. Papa says my video is, check out my video about the home invasion. Papa, send me a link. I'll check it out. Tint Factory said something. Okay. Boom. It's like bullies at school. They don't get punished. It's always the kids standing up for themselves. Yeah. So when you beat the bully, is suddenly the victim. It's like pedestrians. I used to charge pedestrians for causing collisions against motor vehicles when they did the thing that caused the collision. Just because you get hurt doesn't mean you're the victim. So if you're the bully who starts the fight and the little kid beats the crap out of the bully is not the victim. The bully is the bad guy who started the fight. The person who defended themselves against the bully deserves a medal. Not supposed to say these things out loud. Interesting. Okay. Boy mom says my daughter got Tracy says to boy mom, my daughter got suspended for standing up to a bully. I took her out shopping for lunch. Hell yes. That's the way to do it. You listen, I told my kids, we don't start fights, we end them. If someone starts with you, straight in the face. Just make sure you drive that fist straight into their face. Because most bullies have no idea how to fight. Did I say that out loud? Yeah. Anyway, I told them I'll deal with everything that happens afterwards. I'll hire you a lawyer. We'll don't worry. We'll take care of it. Are radar detectors illegal? Yes. Well, they're illegal in certain jurisdictions. They're illegal in Ontario, and stores don't sell them in Ontario. They're not legal. That's why they don't sell them. James interesting. What are your thoughts on 16-speed cameras being 16? Is that since last night? Was it because Doug Ford made stupid comments and then everyone felt empowered to go break stuff? Now I'm really interested. That's interesting. I gotta go do some reading. What are your thoughts on underground racing? It's underground and it's illegal and it should be stopped because it's not safe. Go rent a track. Go to the track. James says, if firearms are bad, why are they sold in Canada? Firearms are not bad. Bad people using firearms to break laws are bad. Mr. Steak says, regarding bullies, preach it, Sean, preach. It's too funny. You're the best. I got to come visit for this Mr. Steak. Okay. Dave Hadette says, hello there. Just popping in for a minute. I'm at work. Hey, Dave. I just ran into, you probably missed the beginning, but I had, I got to say hello to a whole bunch of retired motor cops who are starting an annual thing, sounds like. And then I had to run back to be on the radio. Fubby says, hey, Sean, quick question about the speed signs. I see two types of limits, one with having kilometers under the speed limit and what is this? Oh, and the other one, just a number. Is there a difference for both of them? I'd like to see the sign because they should all say kilometers an hour and where their location is. Like for a regulated sign, it should all say the number and kilometers an hour. I've not seen one, or I can't recall seeing one that just says a number and no thing. Is it on private property? Maybe that's the thing. Or maybe I'm mistaken. Now you got me. Let me see if I can find something here. Regulated speed limit Signs, Ontario. Let's get some pictures up. Oh, speed limit 10. Oh, you know what? This is from Uline. That's not regulated ones. Speed limit sign. I do see both options. Oh, maximum 0. Oh, some of them have, you know what? Some of them have a black bar underneath that says kilometers an hour. Some of them have it printed. Does it have to say? No, it wouldn't have to say. I'm reading the actual Highway Traffic Act regulations right now. So it says here, a speed limit sign, A, shall not be less than 60 centimeters in width and 75 meters in centimeters in height. Shall bear the word maximum in black letters not less than 10 centimeters in height on a white retro-reflective background. Shall display in black numerals not less than 30 centimeters in height on a white retro-reflective background the prescribed maximum rate of speed, and may display a tab sign not less than 20 centimeters in height, not less than 60 centimeters in width, immediately below the limit sign, and the tab sign shall bear the legend kilometers an hour in white retroreflective letters, not less than 10 centimeters in height. So it says may display. So it's not a requirement. Or a speed limit sign shall not be less, and it goes much of the same. But then it says display in black numerals, 30 centimeters in height, blah, blah, blah. Bear the legend kilometers an hour while in white retroreflective letters of not less than 7.5 centimeters in height on a black background. So I see both options. What else can I find here? Not more than 600 meters apart, not more than 900 meters apart. But it doesn't say that it has to have it. It just says may have it. So I would have to say that it's not a requirement based on what I just read. But that's interesting. I've never really paid much attention to street signs other than to follow the speed. But I didn't really go into the minutia of whether or not one style was better or than another. Let me scroll back here. I do want to wrap up. Hour and a half is where I'm going to call it. That means 8 minutes left. James says, can't use as self-defense tools. What can't use as self-defense? That's not true. You can sort of, like if you use the firearm in self-defense, you can use them. You're just going to be seriously questioned and possibly charged for how they were misused, because it's not the same as the States. It's a hunting thing. It's everything else first. It becomes a weapon of opportunity. If you take this bottle of water and beat someone with it, it's a weapon of opportunity. So, but yeah, it's complicated. What is this? Mom in Alberta says, a man entered my garage past midnight as I backed in. My guess is to steal my truck with me in it. That's some scary stuff. And what happened from that event? Now I want to know. They may have been attached to a bumper if they didn't play their cards right. In Alberta, we sell radar detectors, but they are not allowed. Why sell them? In Alberta, they are allowed. So you can buy a radar detector in Alberta. I think it's ridiculous that anybody allows radar detectors to be used. They promote speeding, not compliance, but whatever. They're legal in Alberta, but you can't drive with it to Ontario, because even having it in your vehicle could get you into hot water. Okay. Cody, Cody says, what is this? Okay. License plate. Would it just be a ticket or something else for license plate reflective sticker? Well, you can't put anything on your license plate. You're modifying it to avoid being ticketed, so to be recorded. These are all charges that would be eligible to you. Okay. Why do e-bikes constantly use live lanes of traffic and cause traffic jams? E-bikes are vehicles. Bicycles are vehicles. They can be in any lane. And not all e-bikes can be in the bicycle lane or cycle track. There's restrictions depending on the type. But my God, I have some video that I have a collection of video that I can't wait to share with you, but I'm so behind I haven't published it. So I have a video where I am in Toronto near Allen Road, and there's a guy on an e-bike making a left turn, and he doesn't realize that when the light is green, he should enter the intersection and wait to make it left. So he stays behind the line. So we go through multiple intersections, like changes of light sequences. And it took forever. And then this guy had an illegal bike that was doing 40 or plus kilometers an hour because I was pacing him. So he has an illegal bike that could go fast, but then he chose not to go fast because he doesn't know what he's doing because he doesn't have a freaking driver's license. Don't get me started. Anyway, yeah, such a problem. BB guns, firearms, bows, mace, all bad. Yeah, listen, again, anything you choose is going to be scrutinized. You're going to be scrutinized. Could you, like a retired high-ranking officer made some comments on a video, and he says, if you can, hit someone or do something to allow you to get out of the house and call police, you should do that instead of, like beating the guy senseless. And yeah, I'm paraphrasing or just extrapolating from very few comments he left, but I'm like, I don't know, because if I hit him once or twice, at very least I should tie him up, shouldn't I? But maybe I can get charged with forcible confinement after that. The laws need to be reformed, and they need to be in favor of the citizens of this country and these provinces. We need to be able to act, and we should be able to act in defense of our neighbors too. It shouldn't just be, waiting to anyway. Another topic for another day. I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. I don't have any dad jokes. No one sent me any dad jokes. So without dad jokes, I will not dad joke. Do I dad joke? Maybe I dad joke. Instead, let's do this. Let's look at the careers page because I think that's important. If you're interested in becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service, if you're interested in becoming a member of any police service, you should check out the Toronto Police. They're a magical place to work, and I'm a big fan. I might be a little biased having spent nearly 25 years there in various capacities, but www.tps.ca/careers. Check out police constable. Obviously, they're hiring police constables. We need more cops on the road. And if you don't want to work for Toronto, go to your local police service and check out what the opportunity is. Understand things. Read up on the website. Find out what the job entails, and you might just have a job for life. It's something that you'll always be part of. Amazing. But you don't have to wear that uniform. You can be a special constable. They're not carrying firearms. They're not, having the same responsibilities, but they do amazing stuff. Parking enforcement officers. It's obvious. They are keeping the roads smooth and going. If not for them, no one would get anywhere. I love to look at civilian roles. Let's see. Boom. Yippee programs back in action. Intermediate analyst, IT quality assurance, firearms specialist, forensic identification services, and communications operators. These are civilian jobs. You don't need to be out there putting your life in harm's way to do this. And one in particular, the Yippee program, is for kids, for youth, to get involved with the police. And who knows, that might, I've met people who started as youth and policing members and became police officers, totally doing amazing stuff. I saw a couple of questions pop in. I just want to see if those were ones we needed to deal with. One second, wrong button. Here we go. It was Julie Massey who had a question earlier that I was going to come back to and never got it. What if someone who has an e-bike picking up a passenger, but the passenger does not offer a helmet? Is this right or wrong? You can't be on an e-bike without a helmet, so you can't ride on it. And if you do, if you're over 16, you should get the ticket. And if you're under 16, I would say the rider who's in command of the bike should get the ticket, or maybe both. Yeah, I don't know. But under 16, the rider would be the operator would be responsible, just like a seatbelt, in my opinion. In terms of right or wrong, it's wrong. Don't get on one. But that's the thing. Nicholas, and what do we got here? If I can't move over and what is it? I can't move over and can only slow down for emergency vehicles. What's the speed threshold? It's where it's safe. It's just about safety. So it could be real slow if you can't get over. Depends on what's going on. Phil goes on to say, Ford needs to zip it. Yes. I agree. Bad guys getting badder. Oh, Phil has converted. He says, you've changed my mind on speed cameras, and he now agrees with me. I appreciate it. I also agree with Gord Shumway's comment, but I won't put it on the screen. Okay, I will. Gord Shumway says, better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And that's very much something that many people agree with. I'm one of them. Stephen Bell says, hi, good morning, Sean. Good morning to you, Stephen. He's coming in from London, Ontario. And Julie, you're very welcome. Okay. What is this? Mace is for bears. That's legal. BB guns, I agree. Why sell? Well, BB guns are for target practice and small stuff. I don't know what you're going to shoot with it. Canadian Knight something truncated says, if an e-bike is going 30 and a 50 in a live lane, traffic is not impeded. They have to be to the right side of the curb like a bicycle. They can't be in the left lane just driving because they're, have no idea what the laws of the road are. That person should get ticketed. If they're able to maintain the flow of traffic because they're pedaling, not because they're illegally operating. Because if they're doing 50, they're not on an e-bike, they're on an electric motorcycle. But yeah, stay to the right. It's absolutely stay to the right. And they can get over for the purposes of making left turns, but that's it. What should I do in the city? E-scooter, they say ride on the road, but it won't go above 20. Stay on the right. Stay on the right side. Same thing. Okay. How do you feel about police foundation programs in colleges? How much would they help in the hiring? Get education that makes you unique. I have a police foundation's leadership diploma. Magical, great. It was fun. Does it make you a better applicant? Maybe. If you were an accountant, you'd probably get more love for bringing unique skills to a police service. Gonzo says all speed cameras need to be removed. I say that because he sounds like a whiny child when he makes that comment. Proper driving needs to be taught. That is correct. But when you break the rules, you deserve the camera tickets, not a free space to be a silly person. Gonzo says, brother. All right. Let's see here. What's the rule with go-karts? They're for go-kart tracks. And with that, I'm saying goodbye. Otherwise, I'll keep talking for another half an hour. Well, James, talking about Byrna. Maybe we should talk about Byrna. Byrna is a non-lethal projectile weapon that you can buy here legally. You can use it in your home. You might get charged for using it, but you can still use it. You're not allowed to use the pepper balls, but you can use kinetic energy balls. Interesting stuff. So I've broken Gonzo's stuff. What is this? Oh, he says he says he's not a whiny child, just not a fan of police state Big Brother. Listen, I get it. No one wants to have someone watching you all the time. But I'll tell you something. I don't want people hurting kids and elderly and other vulnerable road users. So while I poke fun at you for saying that, I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm trying to get a point across. The deal is that the police can't be everywhere, but they need to be everywhere. And when you can't have the police there, we should have cameras there to stop the behavior, because if you don't do it, nothing changes. If we do nothing, nothing changes. People just keep making roads unsafe, and sadly, we have tragic events. Speed limits in school zones are low because they're designed to increase survivability of low-speed collisions. Well, when they're low-speed collisions, and people tend to survive them. 30 kilometers an hour, you might save a kid. 60 kilometers an hour, the kid's not going to make it. That's simple as that. Elderly person, not going to make it. So ideally, don't hit people. But the speed limits, when collisions happen, the unplanned ones, yeah. What is this? James says, I don't want anybody hurt, but don't stop it. Oh, the suck and blow from the leadership. Is that what you mean? Yeah. All right. I really got to go. Have a wonderful day. Drive safe, drive sober, park legally. If you have questions, drop them in the DMs. Leave me comments on videos. Ask me questions. Whatever you just, I'm here for you. I'm not going to be on video until Tuesday night of next week. That's when we do Ask a Traffic Cop after dark again. And then, of course, next Wednesday, I'll be here again at 10 a.m. But in between, askatrafficcop.ca. You can leave me a voicemail. Like, there's tons of ways to get a hold of me. It's a thing. I didn't do any dad jokes, but I don't feel like it. Next time. Have a good one. Oh, I'm gonna lead out with the song. This is this is the song that I'm gonna post this up so everyone can have it. It's the Doug Ford's Wrong song. Oh, no, start from the beginning. Start from the beginning. Come on. Oh, terrible. Okay, we'll try this again. This is the song I made using Suno, and it's called Doug Ford's Wrong about traffic cameras. Have a good one.
known to the lens of truth, but Parkside's calm, and that's the proof. 7 times replaced, yeah, a costly game, but safety's worth every cent, every name. Doug Ford is wrong, oh, he's wrong. Can't you see traffic cameras save lives? Let them be. Fewer crashes, fewer tears. Parkside Drive's been safer for years. They click and flash, they make us slow. The numbers drop, it starts to show. The kids can cross, the wheels behave. Each snapshot of life that it just might save. Is the price too high, or is it just right to make it home safe every night? Doug Ford is wrong, oh, he's wrong. Can't you see traffic cameras save lives? Let them be. Fewer crashes, fewer tears. Parkside Drive's been safer for years. 7 cameras gone, but they'll be back, replacing fear with a safer track. Wasting money, nah, that's not the case. What's the price of a safer place? Can't you see traffic cameras save lives? Let them be. Fewer crashes, fewer tears. Parkside Drive's been safer for years. It's been safer for years.
I said I was going, but then I got a picture that I got to show you. Just because. Because I can. Where is it? Upload. Downloads. Where'd it go? There it is. Check this out. Oh, it filled up. Ah, forget it. I'll post it on